Dear truck drivers and owner operators, here are the top 10 tax deductions you should consider come tax season. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of the Awesome Sweetie Kiwi Show. How are you doing today? I hope you are doing fantastic. I'm doing marvelous if you're to ask me. And if you are doing as great as I am, go grab a cup of coffee or tea or vodka and let's roll. Today I want to talk to you about the top 10 tax deductions that every truck driver should consider. But before we get into the nitty gritty, I'm going to give you, we're going to go here step by step to make things very easy, right? So step one, when it comes to taxes, you need to find your form. So if you are a company driver, you will likely receive a W-2 by the end of January, right? So this is a form that reports a trucker's income and annual wages. So most company drivers will then use the information from the W-2 to fill out a 1040 or 1040A for taxes. And you can also file a 1040 easy, but you got to meet several requirements, including you got to make less than $100,000 annually. You got to have a tax status of single or married filings jointly, and you got to choose not to itemize deductions. And there are several trucking deductions that are likely to save you money, so you want to consider carefully before choosing the 1040 easy. So that's if you're a company driver. If you are an owner operator, the easiest way to report your income is with a 1099 form, right? This form is used to report miscellaneous earned income. Step number two, you want to save money with truck driver tax deductions. You want to really keep the paperwork organized throughout the year so you know exactly what kind of deductions you qualify for. Remember, claiming work-related tax deductions is very important because it essentially reduces your adjusted gross income, and that means what? Guess what? You pay less in taxes. And there are also some non-deductible expenses that you have to be aware of. So expenses reimbursed by your employer are not deductible. Clothing that can be adapted for everyday wear. Commuting costs to the company's headquarters do not qualify. Home phone line. And owner-operators cannot deduct the time spent working on their equipment. Owner-operators cannot deduct the income lost as a result of a deadhead unpaid mileage. Owner-operators cannot deduct for downtime. So there are a few things you cannot deduct. And some tax breaks apply to only owner-operators. Others are specific to company drivers, right? So in general, though, local drivers cannot claim these deductions because to claim these deductions, you must have a quote-unquote tax home, which is a place the IRS can contact you. So usually this is your home address. Step number three. Take these 10 deductions that I'm going to talk to you about whenever applicable. Number one, cell phone plans and internet fees. So, we all know that no truck driver spends a significant amount of time on the road without using their phone and internet a lot, right? And the great thing here is that the Internal Revenue Service, the IRS, agrees. So since most drivers use their phone for both personal and professional purposes, you are allowed to deduct 50% of your phone and internet cost. You can also deduct the entire cost of a new phone or laptop that you bought this year. Communication and technology costs add up, and now you can show it in your taxes. You can also deduct number two, food on the road. So drivers who are spending long hours away from home are allowed to deduct a per diem rate of $66 per day. So the IRS understands that if you are spending a lot of time behind the wheel and the food costs might add up. So for each day you are on the road, you are allowed to deduct $66 from your annual income. So if you plan to claim per diem rates, you need to know the details. And one thing I want to mention here is that local drivers are not allowed to deduct food costs because you are able to eat at home after your route is complete. Number three, non-trucking standard deductions. So in addition to the trucking specific deductions you get to claim as a trucker, Don't forget about the common deductions that are not related to your work, right? So this could include things like child tax credits, lifetime learning credits, and child or dependent care credits, among other things. Number four, you can also deduct medical exams. So for example, if your employer required a health exam, you can deduct the out-of-pocket cost. If you saw a doctor for a work-related issue, you can actually claim that out-of-pocket cost. Normally, medical expenses are not tax deductible, but in this case, they are usually and actually considered business expenses. So the IRS understands that your health as a truck driver or owner-operator is a top priority, and so it's nice to have that recognized during tax season. One thing I also want to say is that when it comes to food on the road, make sure that you understand that there is an 80% rule, and self-employed truck drivers may also deduct 80% of the special standard meal allowance rate or their actual expenses. And the 2020 special standard meal allowance is, as I said earlier, $66 per day within the United States, $71 full day outside the United States. Next, you can also deduct fuel and travel costs, and this is number 5. So if you own your own truck, you can claim the exact number of miles you drove on the job. Now, for most drivers, if your fuel costs are more than $100 out of pocket and your company does not reimburse you, you can deduct the expense. You can also claim any costs from toll booths, parking, and lodging that are not reimbursed by your employer. Especially with change in fuel prices, this is often a huge money savings on your taxes. So everything from now while on the road, it's very important also. You can also claim other common truck expenses. Here I'm talking about routine maintenance, new tires, repairs, fuel, right? The cost of truck maintenance as well as cleaning are considered tax deductible regardless of ownership, whether the truck is leased, owned by the driver, or owned by a company. This is very important. So number 6, personal products. So personal products are typically the small purchases that really add up and which are necessary on the road. And this could include the whole gamut. This could include everything from food storage. Think about a cooler, for example, logbooks, a flashlight, specialized clothing, electronic equipment you need for the road, for example, a GPS, and much more. So you want to keep careful track of all these little expenses because they could add up to a big total and you can deduct them on your taxes. So here is a list you want to keep in mind when thinking about deducting personal products. So luggage, food storage such as coolers, flashlights, specialized clothing, uniform including the laundry cost, calculators, logbook, binders, sunglasses, gloves, electronic equipment you might need on the road. And the great thing here is that this can be deducted because as long as they are used for business purposes and the IRS has approved it, then it's definitely fine. One thing you want to understand also is that when it comes to tax deduction for truck drivers and owner operators, paperwork is key because the IRS understands that you're constantly on the road, and the burden of proof is on you, the taxpayer. The burden of proof is on you, the truck driver, to show the authorities that you are actually entitled to the benefits you're seeking. So if you say, for instance, you drove 100,000 miles during the previous year, you got to have a logbook or something else to be able to prove it, whether it is paper-based or electronic. I'll be right back. Right after this, don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of the Awesome Sweetie Kiwi Show. We are still talking here about the top 10 tax deductions every truck driver should consider. And I want to continue so I was at number 6. Now I am number 7. Licensing fees. So any cost you pay to get and maintain a CDL license can be claimed. In addition, if your employer requires that you continue your education, all those costs are also deductible. Company jobs that offer to pay for your schooling have never looked so good, right? And number 8, truck repairs slash maintenance. So any expense you paid to repair or maintain your truck that were not reimbursed can be claimed. Whether you are a company driver or an owner operator, cleaning and maintenance costs are deductible. This could include truck parts, cleaning supplies, but not the cost of labor if you repair the truck yourself. Very important. Number 9, association dues. So most drivers are required to be part of a union or other collective trucking group. So any required fees to take part in this groups is deductible. That's fantastic, right? And if you happen to be part of additional trucking groups that are not required by your employer, you may still be able to deduct the cost. You can claim this deduction if you can demonstrate that it helps your career or is a regular membership in the trucking industry. Number 10, last but not the least, if you own insurance and other financial costs. So if you own your own truck, you can also claim the vehicle related cost, including maintenance, insurance premiums, and loan interest. Insurance on a single truck typically starts at around $2,000 for a leased owner-operator and at $20,000 for an owner-operator within their own authority. So insurance expenses can rise depending on how extensive the coverage is. And one thing you have to keep in mind is that some of the different types of insurance that are typically required include things like bobtail, occupational accident, and physical damage. So on top of your truck insurance, you will also need health insurance, which averages around $3,500 a year. So insurance is an expense that can vary significantly depending on how much you want to pay. It really depends on your budget. So however, paying less for insurance usually means a higher deductible, which comes with a greater risk if an accident were to occur. So that's very important. Let's also now step number 4, seek a professional consultant if needed. So if you remember the first step here, I told you to find your form. Step number 2, save money with truck driver tax deduction. Step number 3, take this 10 deductions when applicable. I just gave them to you. And now step number 4, you have to seek professional help. And when I'm talking about professional help here, I'm talking about 3 types. So you can actually hire a CPA, so a certified public accountant. You can hire an enrolled agent, or you can hire a truck tax accountant. The thing here is that there are a lot of experts out there who can help you, and this is if you're not familiar with the tax situation, or you have a complicated tax situation, right? You can really do this yourself if you have the proper software. But if you're not comfortable, then seek out a local CPA and reach out to the person. So that's step number 4. Step number 5, you want to file before April 15th. So, when you've added cost and finished the paperwork, by the time you submit your forms, whether you need to send a check or you will be getting a refund. So you can file your taxes electronically or by mail as long as they are submitted by April 15th. Truckers tend to have a lot of tax liability. So when it comes time to file your taxes, things can get tricky. So what you want to do is that you want to think about the best opportunities out there, the best tax deductions out there, the best personal deductions and credit that you qualify for before filing. All right, I've given you here a lot of deductions, at least 10, but there are many others out there that you need to see based on your situation. This is very important. All right, folks, this is it for today. I really appreciate your help. I just want to quickly recap here. So I gave you the top 10 tax deductions every truck driver should claim, and those are cell phone, planes, and internet fees, food on the road, non-tracking standard deductions, medical exams, fuel and travel costs, personal products, licensing fees, truck repairs and maintenance, association dues, insurance, and other financial costs. Always, folks, always try to get, and we are showing you right now on the screen, we have a nice, we did a little recap for you. Just save this screen on your phone and just take a look as you prepare your taxes. And the thing here is that I also want to mention the fact that always seek professional help if needed. You can reach out to a certified public accountant, a tax attorney, an enrolled agent, or a truck tax accountant. Someone who has expertise, who understands the subtleties of a truck driver's taxation, should be able to help you. Thank you so much. I will see you next time, but until then, remember, stay marvelous.